All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to Feral But Sober, episode 2. Today we have Amanda Cantrell back with us and Faunae Newman. I just butchered that. And today we're going to talk a little bit about trauma and its correlation to addiction and how to navigate it safely in recovery. And Amanda is going to talk to us about the struggles that we still face after we dry out. A lot of people think that just simply refraining from using and everything magically gets better. And that's not always the case. We still have very real struggles, a lot of stress and anxiety about a lot of things. We have to learn how to be a person again, lots of stuff. So she's going to tell us what worked for her and a little bit about how to get through that. So I'm going to take Amanda away for right now. Fauna's up first. Hi, Faunae.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So if you want to go ahead and start, and I know you have some images that we have uploaded for your patient, and then we will talk a little bit and we'll take some questions from the audience, our viewers. I did link the chat this time. Last week, I forgot to link the chat, and it was simply like I could not figure it out. I was panicking and freaking out, and it was literally that I didn't turn it on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about like trauma in general and how it kind of relates to substance use, addiction, and like the barriers to addressing it, or like, how it affects everybody.
Sure.
So like we all experience trauma in our life, and there's different ways that we handle it, and just working with the community, I've seen how it affects everybody and how important it is to really try to work through it.
Absolutely. I mean, it really, and anyone can go through trauma. I know that today we are specifically talking about people in recovery and its correlation to addiction, but I think it's important to know that, you don't have to be an addict to have trauma. Everybody does experience trauma.
Yeah, and there's different kinds of trauma, like just childhood trauma. Women experience trauma differently than men. There's secondhand trauma, depending on like the type of career you have, and like doctors treating people, even therapists sometimes.
I know I've spoke to a harm reduction specialist recently, and he has mentioned something that I didn't necessarily take into account, that especially counselors and especially counselors and therapists and things, you guys really do need a space for you guys to decompress, because you hear all these things every day, and and a lot of you guys are really empathetic and you feel for the people and their struggles and can't imagine some of the things that people have been through, and you have to kind of shoulder that burden, and it's a lot on you guys, and you guys really do go a little bit unnoticed and not to get the glory that you guys deserve. I know we talked a little bit last week. I think substance abuse counselors are just amazing, like, and especially like I know Rachel, Rachel Haney, our last guest from last week, and I just think, especially counselors in addiction, to flip the script, like I just think that's awesome. Like they've just turned the whole tables on addiction and said, in your face,
Yeah, I think just we all, not everybody experiences trauma, but a lot of us go through it, and we all can, even if we don't experience the same thing, we can kind of relate to each other. And I know that coming into treatment, like maybe you've been through it like 3 times before and you've got to talk about the same thing over again. I know that can kind of like, especially when you don't know the person you're talking to, you're meeting them for the first time, it can be overwhelming. And I just really want to work to make a safe place for people to come in and, start to feel comfortable.
Right. And that's it. Like, people really do have to feel comfortable to discuss their trauma, because trauma is such a personal, deep, and if you don't make people feel comfortable or like you care, I imagine that it's probably pretty difficult to get them to open up to you. And in your profession with the, you really need them to trust you to be able to tell you those things, so you can find underlying causes to help arrange treatment. And because it's my understanding that you guys work with the doctors and things to come up with people's treatment plans. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I can help refer people to mental health treatment. I'm a therapist too, so I can do co-occurring disorders. So like doing individual counseling with people to kind of help them work through, for instance, trauma, how it relates to their substance use. We have a psychiatric department that our Brightview I can refer people to. And then also our medical provider can coordinate with outside providers of theirs to kind of help.
Awesome. So you're a therapist also. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference between a therapist and a counselor? Because in my mind, they were the same, and obviously they're not. So,
I mean, really, they are. I just have a master's degree in social work, and I just
nice.
recently obtained my independent license. So I'm a licensed independent social worker now. What that means is I can work without supervision. A counselor sometimes has a different certification.
Cool. So you said co-occurring disorders, and if you would kind of explain to everybody a little bit about what that is, because that kind of ties into the trauma that we're talking about, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So co-occurring disorders is where you have like a substance use disorder, like opioid use disorder, and then also PTSD or depression, major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, things like that.
Right. And it's my understanding that those kind of things do tie closely with substance abuse. Is that right? Like by studies and things like that, it's been proven.
Yeah. So a lot of studies kind of have what's the word, like kind of found that like self-medicating. So like when you have mental health, undiagnosed, untreated mental health disorder, sometimes, we do things like we want to be numb, or we want to not deal with it right now, or it's, we just don't know what to do. So that's where that comes in.
Sure. So I know just from briefly like researching trauma, just to tip the iceberg so that I could have a conversation with you and not look like a complete dumbass. I kind of looked it up a little bit, and I'll tell you that I had no idea. There's 5 different types of trauma just based off of what I found. So do you want to talk a little bit about them? Or like, I have acute trauma, chronic trauma, complex trauma, developmental trauma, and secondary trauma. Is that am I forgetting anything or making stuff up?
No, there is different so trauma is actually is like complex, is a little less, it doesn't quite meet the requirements of post-traumatic stress disorder diagnosis, but there's a lot of things there. And so instead of just not saying, trauma unspecified or something, it's complex. There's a lot of little different things. A lot of times it's small things that you're exposed to every day. For example, incarcerated individuals might have complex PT or trauma just from, heightened vigilance, things like that. Acute stress disorder would be where you've met the requirements for the first 30 days. And then if it goes on longer after the exposure to the trauma, then it would be considered PTSD.
So is PTSD like a type of trauma?
Yeah, post-traumatic stress disorder, it's where you've had a traumatic event happen. A lot of times I think we can see it in veterans, kind of like a widely known thing is veterans come back with trauma, exposed to like a car accident, and you're experiencing symptoms for a prolonged period, and they're great, like really affecting your everyday life. Like you won't get in a car to go to the store, you can't drive.
So would that be, would you say, in your opinion, professional opinion, that that would be definitely a disorder that correlates closely with substance abuse? Because to me, it feels like if I was having all that anxiety and stress from experiences that I've had, that I would definitely not want to feel that.
For sure. And a lot of times, people don't know who to reach out to. They're scared to talk about it. There's a lot of, especially in relation to sexual trauma.
Sure. I'm sure people are embarrassed, even though the victims have no reason to be embarrassed. I know that it's definitely a thing that people deal with. And anxiety from, just, I don't know, I guess people find out or what that's going to look like for them. And I definitely could understand somebody using, to cover that up. So how do you guys as professionals deal with people using substance abuse to cover up their trauma? How do you approach that? Like, how do you even begin to start? Like, because they have to feel their pain. I would feel like talking about it would make it fresh, and you have to talk about it to I guess heal from it and learn.
First of all, just developing a good therapeutic relationship, developing rapport with the patient. Like I said, making sure they feel comfortable, safe, non-judgmental. It's very important to put aside your own personal stuff when working with people, because everybody is exposed to different things. And like you said earlier, like being a therapist and hearing stuff, it can be hard. But at the end of the day, I'm there to help those people. And I need to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that I do that.
Sure. So how would you say people after if they're in treatment and in recovery and they're not using substances, how then would be a healthy way to cope with their trauma?
I would say working with your counselor to address like how you want to approach it. Are you wanting to work through what happened? Are you wanting to manage the symptoms? And going from there, there's different interventions that you can use to address it. The biggest thing is being really careful not to re-traumatize yourself, and to make sure that you're being safe when doing it. Like addressing symptoms when they come up in session, making sure that there's a safety plan in place, things like that.
Sure. So I saw also that there are, everybody hears in school like fight and flight response, but I didn't realize that it's actually fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Then there's also hypervigilance, dissociation, and somatic symptoms. Is that how I said? So if you want to talk a little bit about that, because I had no idea. I thought it was like fight or flight. And so you either, you froze or not froze, I'm sorry, you ran or you just dealt with it head on. So can we talk about a little bit other responses maybe?
Yeah, so fight or flight is the most known one, where you either, like you said, you run away or you fight back. The freeze response is where it's kind of like you're numb, disassociating maybe. You don't know what to do, so you just freeze. And the fawning is kind of like people pleasing, like where you do everything you can to placate the person so that the abuse will stop or the incident will go away. Okay. And somatic symptoms are kind of like physical symptoms, like night terrors, trouble sleeping.
So it's chronic pain, even like gastrointestinal issues, like with your digestion.
Yes.
Wow, that's really
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I just think
I was
it's
just going to
really,
say there's a good.
we're fine. I'm gonna go. I think it's just really interesting how some in your brain really does control your body. Like it can make you feel pain that like you're really not feeling due to like trauma. That's so amazing. Our brain really is a very powerful.
Yes, there's a really good book, The Body Knows the Score, about that. And like when gastrointestinal, the vagal nerve, and things like that. When you get nervous and you're stuck easy. If you have unremembered trauma, like if you're going past a place that reminds you subconsciously of something, you can get sick in your body, or certain parts of your body might hurt for no reason.
Wow. And just like sporadically, like if you're driving past somewhere where something happened and it could just make you feel sick. That's really amazing how our brain controls our body, like, and we don't even know it. So something else mentioned is a prefrontal cortex suppression, where like it causes impaired decision making and emotional regulation. That's the little blurb I got. So you want to talk about that a little bit, like explain that a little bit better, I guess, to people like me that have no idea what that really means.
The prefrontal cortex.
Or memory fragmentation. It also mentions height fear response, just like things that the brain causes. It's under trauma in the brain is my little section of notes that I've got it under.
Just like how your brain tries to like save you or keep you safe, disassociation, that's where parts of memories can be blocked off. And then you experience things like flashbacks, where they come up at um, unexpected times, things like that, or impulse control, where you're um, making rash decisions and acting out quickly without
Wow.
thinking.
In response to trauma. That's it's crazy all the different aspects of our life that trauma really affects and we don't realize it.
Yes. Yeah, and just like our relationships and things, the way that we develop relationships with others when we have unaddressed trauma, because just things from simple, like just the simple, like lack of trust, because you don't know what's going to happen with somebody, to just everything.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so we had some little pieces of media that you wanted to share with people. So if you want to do that now, is that how you want to proceed? Or did you have
Yeah,
anything else
that's
you wanted to say? This is your show. I've a little bit took over, and I know you're very nervous, but whatever
yeah.
that you want to say, whatever message you have for people. We actually had a cancellation, so you have a little bit more time than we anticipated. So anything you want to say?
Oh, yeah. That's one of the ways that as therapists that we kind of screen for uh, trauma and how things are going to affect people is called the ACE score, and it's adverse childhood experiences. And it kind of is an indicator of things that might happen when you grow up. Like people with high ACE scores might be more uh, likely to develop substance use disorders, or have PTSD, things like that. Um, the
So
types
how
of
do you
ACE.
screen?
Oh, go ahead.
How do you screen for that? Do they take like an evaluation? Do you evaluate them based on your sessions, or how do you do that?
There's actually like a questionnaire, and it asks things like, I have a copy of it. It asks questions like, did you feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or had no one to protect or take care of you, which kind of screens for neglect, things like that.
Sure.
Um, it asks about divorce, abandonment, death of close loved ones, uh, mental health in the family. Like, did you live with people who were mentally ill, had depression, or a serious mental health disorder? Did you live with anyone who went to jail or prison? And, you know, did you live with people who use substances? And it also screens for sexual abuse, assault. And then at the bottom, it'll ask you a question: do you believe that these experiences have affected your health?
So when people experience trauma, if they have a like underlying mental health issue, do you think that it affects them like more severely, or it changes the way that it affects them if they have something else going on as well?
I think it all boils down to the support that you have, how proactively you're working with treating or addressing any mental health disorders, symptoms that you are already experiencing. But yeah, it can definitely have an effect on when you're exposed to new trauma and things.
And you like maybe your brain's response to the trauma. That's kind of where my thought process went. Like if you had a mental health issue, it might like affect more severely than it might affect somebody else. I don't know. That's just my thinking. Again, I am in no way. Oh, I forgot to say this at the beginning of the show, everybody. I am in no way any kind of professional. I work in a warehouse. I am just the host of this show. So just to get that out there, this feed, I have no degree or prerequisites that qualify me to give any kind of just opinions.
Okay. I think you're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm also, this is my second time I've ever went live ever. I am still trying to figure things out. I've got just, I don't know. I have 2 toddlers and a 11-year-old child as well and I will also work a full-time job. I'm just, I'm really just winging it and hoping that I can help myself and hopefully others. I mean, I hope that everyone else finds this a healthy outlet to just get things out and learn. Like that's like, like yourself. I really appreciate you coming on here and educating us, because a lot of people don't know. I had no idea trauma was such a diverse topic. So something else that I came up with the different healing modalities. I don't know how to say that. I guess different types. Yeah. So I came up with like talk therapy. It says CBT and DBT. So
yeah. So talk therapy is basically just what it says. Talk therapy, like what we're doing. But it would be more probably structured.
Structured, right?
In a safe place.
I know a lot of treatment facilities use cognitive behavioral training, is that what it's called, for in their treatment plans or whatever, lessons, classes, whatever that you take while you're there. I know a couple that I went to did. So that would definitely be something that plays into like the addiction side of trauma, correct?
Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy is basically just retraining your thoughts, reformatting, replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts, identifying, like, for instance, identifying your triggers and then making a plan to address them, developing healthy coping skills to, manage substance use, trauma, mental health. That's basically what CBT is, yeah.
Thanks everybody that's watching live. I had a little bit of a snag with my streaming platform. That's why we're on 2 different devices. That's why I keep looking side to side, but I wanted to give a shout out to everyone watching us on TikTok over here. But so one of the other healing techniques, I'm going to call them, is somatic experiencing. It says releasing trauma stored in the body. So if you had like pain from your trauma, that your brain's causing due to trauma, what would be a good way to release, to get the pain, to treat the pain? Because obviously, Tylenol is not going to work, because it's essentially a mental symptom, or mental aspect causing a physical symptom, I think.
Yeah, like mindfulness practicing mindful meditation. What do you call it? Deep breathing. One of the things that I really like, deep breathing is like a scientifically proven coping skill to work. When you take deep, slow breaths, it slows your heart rate down, your blood pressure goes down, you get really hot feeling, and it helps you to cool down, to stop and think before you say something. Body awareness, knowing your body signs when you're so you can identify when you're starting to feel nervous or experiencing some kind of unwanted emotion. Like I said, once again, like you get butterflies in your stomach, like I have right now because I'm nervous. So just taking deep breaths and stuff.
Sure. So it says EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's like it says targeting traumatic memories. So
Yeah.
are you familiar with that technique at all?
A little bit, yeah. It's a special machine that flashes lights, a sequence of lights, and your eyes follow, like your eyes make certain movements, and then it somehow rewires the way that you process the trauma. And
Just
it
by
really
light flashes. And does
you
it
have to have special certification.
Go ahead.
You have to have special certification, get trained in it, and it's a very short-term therapy, like anywhere from 4 to 6 sessions.
And does it have good like proven results, like a good success rate? Or that's awesome. I never, and it's just by flashing lights. There's no words or sound, or just visual.
You do other stuff while you're there, but yeah, it's that's
the biggest part.
Yeah, the part that the flashing light sequences and stuff, the way that it helps you. It's the same thing like with art therapy. When you're using art to address emotions and stuff, it works a different part of your brain than just talk therapy.
Sure. So narrative therapy is something else that I came up with, reclaiming personal stories. So actually it sounds like it is actually good to talk about it sometimes, or, in certain, I guess, like you said, in a safe space, we want to definitely make sure that we have, we're doing recounting traumatic stories in a safe space. Or same thing with the show. I know everybody probably saw the trigger warning at the beginning and the one flashing across the bottom right now. If the content of this show and at any time sparks any kind of triggers or makes anybody feel any type of way, please reach out. I will help you. I was obviously not a substance abuse professional, but I will definitely point you in the right direction. The SAMHSA National Hotline is on every one of my bios and in the link to this video. So we don't want that from anybody, but I think that's another reason that I started the show, because I definitely think talking about the things that we've done, helps us, because our experiences are valid. Like, even though we weren't living our best life when we experienced some of the things that we did, they still, every experience, every choice, whatever that I've ever done has been the person that I am today. And I think they're valid. I'm very bad for not talking about my past. My husband is not an addict, never has been. And I moved away from everybody, people, places, things. And so I'm guilty of not doing the maintenance on my recovery that I should. And it definitely affects me. I can definitely tell, because I got into a really deep depression where I felt like I was nobody or nothing, I guess, before my life now, as I call it. And that's not fair. That's not fair to me, because I was somebody, and I was always somebody's daughter. And, I've been somebody's mother for 11 years, and it's not fair to discredit those experiences. I feel, to myself, it wasn't fair to me, and it was hurting me, it was making me feel less than. And I think that talking about these things, I'm reclaiming a little bit of myself. So I definitely can see that right here live, perfect example for everybody.
Yes. Just what you said, narrative therapy. shame can be a part of trauma, especially in sexual trauma and things like that, or substance use. When you work to retell your story, you take control of it. You are writing down objectively what happened. You can see that, it wasn't your fault. You can see that you didn't have anything to do with why it happened, and take control of it, accept it, and grow.
Right. So the very last technique that I had come up with was community and connection, as peer support, storytelling, and creative expression. So like creative expression is kind of like you talked about, like art and music. Do a lot of people show success or growth from those types of treatments?
Yeah, and I mean, just like what you're doing right now, the community part, when we have the night of luminaries in the park, things like that, all of that is part of sharing with the community, and making it more acceptable to get support.
Right. So I had just brought up some different, like, it just was talking points about trauma. So like there's some myths like about trauma, like if it didn't happen to me directly, it's not trauma. And apparently that like you can have like we talked about with counselors, I'd say was one, but maybe from seeing things. You want to talk a little bit about like how it could be trauma if it didn't happen to me?
Trauma, loss of a loved one,
Oh, nice.
especially if it was in a traumatic way. I mean, a lot of people in the community have lost people to overdose and stuff, and that can be very traumatic. It didn't happen directly to you, but it's still a very traumatic thing. Doctors, police officers, EMTs, all experience traumatic things that don't happen to them, but it still affects them in their daily
Like
life.
first
And it can
responders,
affect,
I didn't think of that.
yes.
Nice, that's a good one.
Also, national, when 9/11 happened, wildfires, that the natural disasters and things like you might see on TV and stuff.
I didn't think of that either. Like people really, it affects people. Some people have a big heart. Like things like that affect people, even though it might not be, happen directly to them. If, when California burns, some people really feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So why trauma survivors may turn to substances. I mean, I know obviously like we don't want to feel it, but is there like a more clinical explanation or not really?
I mean, basically that's it. Just sometimes, a lot, like some people don't have time to take time to go to get help. They've got to work 2 jobs. They don't have time to address stuff, and they remembered that when they were doing this thing, they felt better. They didn't feel. So, you numb yourself.
Sorry, I just got able to see everybody's comments on Facebook. And so anyone watching can now comment. I can see what you're saying on Facebook. I had it everywhere else was comments were coming in, but I wasn't seeing comments from Facebook until just right now. I had to actually get on Facebook on my phone and to be able to see. So, so Leah Saylor said, hello, Leah. Someone said, is that where PTSD comes from? I'm not sure when they said that, but people that were doing great. So thank you guys. They said we're doing great. Thanks everybody for saying that. Someone sent a little thumbs up for us. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted you to know that people are watching us. Oh, Rachel was watching us on TikTok and it froze, probably because I switched apps over to Facebook so I could see the comments. Yep, that is why. It took me off TikTok Live. Okay, I'm going to figure it out. I promise, guys. I am literally gonna next week I will have this figured out. I spent most of my week this week trying to fix that audio feed so it would split, and it it took the whole, so I didn't have a lot of time to figure out all the streaming, but I promise I will figure it out. All right, I'm sorry.
You are
Fauna.
doing awesome. Seriously. Like I would have no idea where to even start. And like I think it's brave that you're doing this, because I know I was super nervous, and I'm still really nervous. I felt like I was going to sound like a moron out here talking. So
No. See, and it's crazy, and it's I don't know, encouraging, I guess, that even someone who said you have an actual degree, you went to college, you say you have a master's degree, and
yes.
so you should be confident about the information that you're giving. You've done this for how many years now, but you still have anxiety. So that's encouraging for people that, it's not just us. It's not, just people that have no
No, yeah.
I have no experience, or I'm just winging it. So but it's good to know that everyone gets nervous and anxious, but you are doing amazing. You sound like
Yeah, that's something else that I just wanted to say too. Like and like when you come in to like talk to your counselor or therapist, like your therapist is probably just as nervous as you are, wanting to make sure that everything's going right. So yeah, it's kind of I hope that it does help people.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I know that we talked a little bit about possibly you doing a recurring segment, like you coming back. I know you were really nervous today, but I think that it really helps people to hear about how trauma can affect them. And especially like people don't like to accept that maybe they've had trauma, or trauma has affected them. So I think that this is a good place for them to learn about this. So I definitely encourage you to come back and talk about some of the different aspects of trauma, or maybe dive more deeply into, one or the, and we could do as many segments as you want to dive into each aspect or each response, or however you want to do it. But I definitely think that you should, if you're comfortable, and you have time or whatever. But I think that it definitely will help people to recognize, hey, maybe I do need help. Maybe that did affect me and I didn't realize it. Maybe that's why I'm having this pain I didn't know about, or I'm getting sick every time I drive past the spot that happened, or, like I had no idea that could be a thing. So I think that definitely could help people.
Oh yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable now, actually. I'm like, I would love to come back. I would love to hear what people would like to hear more about relating to trauma.
Right.
Too,
Absolutely. Everybody drop us some comments, shoot an email, anything. Let us know what you want to hear about. Not just trauma too. I know I don't want to take up her segment, but any segment, anything you guys want to hear talked about, or anybody wants to be a guest on the show, please do not hesitate. This is a unity forum. That's my go. I want everybody to feel welcome. I want everybody to be able to speak their truth proudly. Not everybody's experiences are going to be the same. Everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's rock bottom is going to be different. But I think everybody's experiences are valid and deserve to be heard. Everybody should speak their truth loudly and proudly without judgment. I want this to be a listen and don't judge community. And no one has to agree with everybody. I understand we're going to have disagreements, but let's not have any disrespect. That's all I ask. And but it feels safe here to share their experiences, because you never know who it might help. You really don't.
Yes, I think this is wonderful.
Did you want to share media clips, and then we'll bring Amanda on?
Yeah, just the so just addiction and trauma as a you got 97% of homeless women with mental illness report severe physical or sexual abuse. 75% of women and men in substance abuse treatment report a history of abuse and trauma in their lives. They just reinforce that there's a strong link between traumatic events and substance use. Yeah.
I know we have this.
The different types, and a lot of people, you know, maybe we talk about like how things are normalized sometimes in our, you know, family, and then we don't realize that, hey, maybe that's not something that happens in other places.
Right. And you know, someone else's trauma may not look the exact same as yours, but please know, guys, that if you go to your counselor or your substance abuse professional or your therapist or whoever you see and you like it's probably something that they've heard before. Maybe not the exact, you know, exact way, but you're not going to shock them. They're not going to think that you are, you know, you're just totally disgusting, or they're not going to blame you or just think you're some kind of freak. Like I promise you, someone else has been through something similar. Like we like to, you know, sometimes feel like we're the only one, but really like the, you know, and especially I'm sure Fauna can corroborate that, like, you guys see it all and hear it all, and you know, you're not going to think differently of somebody because of something that's happened to them. You know, it's never the victim's fault. But we should never be ashamed. If somebody harms us or wrongs us or does something that causes us trauma, we should not be ashamed to seek help and to tell what happened and speak out and learn how to get through it, because it's so important, especially to people in recovery, because if you don't deal with your trauma, it raises your risk of slipping back. So I read.
No, see, yeah, for real, yes. Also, I know that I've even felt the same way myself, you know, like my stuff is not that serious. I don't want to take resources away from somebody else. We usually like compare our traumas or stuff like, and I just want to put out there, like, just because, you know, whatever happened to me might not be as serious as what happened to somebody else doesn't mean that it's not serious for you still, you know?
Right. Absolutely. All right, Fauna. Well, if that is all, if you have anything else you want to say for today, go ahead. And if not, we'll bring on Amanda and do her segment to wrap up the show today. Usually I try to have 3 guests, but someone did have an emergency with their kid today. So we got just the 2 of you guys, which I'm so happy that we had the time to explore your topic a little bit more than we first thought, because like I said, I think it's very helpful for people to hear.
Yeah. I don't have anything else right now. I'm good, but I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and for you to make me feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And please come back, please. Like, you know, even if you don't want to talk about trauma that you think that you can share from your experience could help somebody. I know that you know that, you know, so it's, you know, and I think it's very brave of you. Thank you so much. I know you were so anxious, like you were, you know, you texted me this morning, like I'm, you know, I'm just, my nerves are killing me. And so I really appreciate you, you know, owning your fear and, you know, using your tools that I'm sure you know, push for other people to use. And I'm, you know, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right, Amanda, are you with us?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, I'm going to play your little video I made for you this week, and then we will start. I love that review. So I'm calling this segment, I should have said, I was calling the last segment Scars and Substances. I think that's amazing for trauma, you know, because of the scars that we have and this, you know, obviously substances that go with it. But I'm calling your segment today The Chaos After the Cleanse, because like I said at the beginning of the show, simply getting clean or drying out does not make our magical world turn into rainbows, you know. We still have so much, and a lot of times that we have messed our life up so damn bad by the time that we finally decide to get clean, that we have a lot to deal with and a lot of and that's why I really think a lot of people relapse, because of the stress and the deals, you know, that comes along with being clean. You literally have to learn how to be a person again, like a whole new person. You're like reinventing yourself, and it's super scary, super stressful. And
Oh yeah, definitely is. I know, like for me, well, a lot of you don't know me, obviously, but I've been clean since November 7th of 2018. So I am still to this day learning who I am as a person. Like just because you get clean doesn't mean everything just fixes itself overnight. And I think that a lot of people put too much expectations on themselves right at the beginning. Once you start to get clean, you start to feel better. And once you start to feel better, you want to try to accomplish all these things. And I think that sometimes people just get ahead of themselves a little too fast, and then they feel like they're just drowning
Yep.
because they're trying to take on so much and they're trying to prove to so many different people that they have changed. And basically, I'm just still trying to learn how to juggle all this. Like it is a lot to handle, and especially with you. I mean, you got those two babies. Yes, and then you got Braylon, and I mean, and it's a lot, and it is a lot. And with me, I don't have any young kids here, but I mean, I have my 20-year-old son. I help take care of my grandmother. She's got dementia.
Baby.
That's a full-time job. Oh yeah, he'll always be my baby. He can never get out of that one. But yeah, I help take care of her. That's a full-time job. I'm a cat mom. And like a serious mom. Like my two kittens, our cats just had kittens. I have 12 kittens.
Oh
I'm trying to get weaned and out
So
the
you're
door.
a cat mammal.
Yes, I'm a cat mama. Yes. So it's a lot going on. So, and the same thing happened with me. I just tried to take on way too much at one time, and I just kind of had to learn who I was. Like I learned that I like different things. Like my passion is with makeup. I love that now. And I would have never known that a few months back or a couple years back. And whoever knows me knows that. They see that.
When I met you looked completely different.
Yeah,
and
completely. And then that was my persona of like being in the streets. Like I think that you kind of where I was at, like I was shooting dope, like I was shooting fentanyl and stuff, and I was out there robbing people. And with that being said, you kind of have to be the worst, toughest version of yourself, because if not, you're going to get ran all over. Or, I mean, bad stuff can happen. Like I talked about last week, I got kidnapped, for ripping off the wrong people. And that's what we do, when we're out there.
That you got kidnapped one time, but how many times did you do it? Like we do
exactly.
the shit, like, and
so you lose yourself when you're out there. You become a shell of a person. So you have no clue who you are
at all. And a lot of people start using drugs. I know I did, and you did very young. So like I didn't even know what my son as an adult looked like. Like when I would be in treatment and my counselors would ask me about my hobbies, I would literally say soccer, because I played soccer in grade school. Like,
yeah, you don't know. Oh my goodness, there goes my alarms right now. Anytime you cook something in my house, the alarms go off. So that's a constant thing. Very touchy. But anyways, what I was saying was, yes, that is absolutely true. You don't know who you are. You do not. But then all you can do, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill him.
You're okay.
It's good. It's so touchy. You can cook the littlest thing and it's going to go off. I'm so sorry.
But every day's I'm sorry, though. You're not going to burn down in the night. That's for sure.
Exactly. So, but yeah, you just have to, when you're out there, you have to become somebody that you're not. Sure. And it depends on how many years you're out there. Like you said, me and you both, we started using at a young age. So with that being said, we're these people, shells of people that don't even know if they like, what movie they like. Like I've had people ask me, what's your favorite movie? I have no clue.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
And I have about 7,000 favorite songs because I have no clue,
Exactly. You don't know. And it's not going to come overnight either. Car troubles, like anything and everything that you could think of it will all happen at one time. But I think this is a really good thing that you're doing right now. I think people need to plug in and find healthy outlets. Just try to, I don't know, not necessarily like you just really got to find who you are and just try to not take everything in at one time, but also find a healthy outlet, find somebody you can talk to, find somebody you can confide in, and really dig in to try to figure out who you are, what you do like, and don't get discouraged. I think a lot of people get discouraged and then they go back out.
Right.
There's a lot of people on here. I know that I seen the comments from our first show that were just now getting clean and they were watching us. And and that's a big thing. Like, they're already out here trying to figure out, learn from somebody else or listen to somebody else's experiences and try to put that into their own daily lives.
Absolutely. And I want everybody to be welcome here. If you are just sober curious, if you're still out there doing the dirt, guys, you're welcome here. Obviously, I don't know what's been on the show, when you can't hold your eyes open, but you're welcome to watch along. If this is where you need to start, I am honored, and if anybody has inputs or comments, I don't care if you guys are using, man, you come here. Your experiences are valid here too. If you have 10 years in clean, good for you. You're welcome here. If you are friends and family of someone that is has struggled with addiction or is in recovery, you're welcome here. You don't necessarily have to be an addict, guys. Our addiction affects everybody around us. Like, just because you may not have used yourself, you're definitely affected by addiction, and your experiences are valid. Your story might help someone. Please, everybody, I want everybody to feel welcome, everybody to be able to express themselves. I don't care how, little you think your experiences might be, or people that's not actually, an addict or in recovery. If you think, oh, just, my son used, but that doesn't, that's not me. No, your story could still help somebody. You guys have still been touched by addiction. Like,
Yes,
so we have a comment from
absolutely.
Deborah. It says, have to remember that the only person that you have to be okay with at the end of the day is you, to be certain that you have not done no harm that day, but to help others and show them the way. And I think that's a great advice, because she's right. We're not going to ever please anybody. We've burnt so many bridges. Not everybody's going to forgive us, no matter how bad we want them to. That's something that I struggle with, that like, I think that because I'm clean, everybody should say, oh, you're clean, good job, we'll forget everything you ever did. And some people are not willing to do that, and I can't blame them, because I've done some dirt, and
Oh yeah.
we just have to know
That's
that we're
so
not that
funny.
person.
That's so funny that you say that, because I'm going through the same thing now with like a lot of people, like a lot of friends that I've had in the past. Obviously, that I've lied to, her, manipulated in some way, shape, or form. And like, I get my feelings hurt because I'm like, man, like, I'm just, like, I'm out here trying my best. And sometimes, like, like, I got to think at the end of the day, like, I did do this wrong. And, their feelings are valid too, and so, and it's all about healing, like, even with ourselves. Like, it's not just us that's healing, it's them too. Like,
Right.
like, it's my kids, it's my mom, it's whoever I've harmed in the past. Like, and I get that, like, but I think that sometimes, like you said, like, we expect it just then and there, and it's not. It's going to be a long road to keep rolling down. But the only important thing is that you pick yourself back up and keep it going. Just definitely
know that you're not that person anymore, and just, hope people forgive you. And if they don't, then the space, and maybe one day they will, maybe one day they won't, but all you can do is not be that person anymore. Show them that, and pray that they do, I guess, but we can't let that get us down, because I know it does me. My feelings, I'm like, but I'm clean, and they're like, yeah, but you still wrong me. And I'm like, oh, well, I did do that, I'm sorry, but they're not always ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I still fight with that, and like, and it, another thing, like, mental health, like, I still struggle, like, and I think substance abuse really kind of throws you off too when you're using, like, I mean, obviously, like the pain, you're trying to numb the pain. And so that gives you a little bit of depression and, the anxiety and everything that goes with it. That doesn't go away just because you get clean. In fact, it might even get a little bit worse.
That's what I was going to say, because then it hits you all at once. Everything you've been masking for the 1,000 years that you're, my whole life, I've missed things my whole life. I literally start doing drugs so young that, like my whole life, I've just masked pain. I didn't know how to deal with or feel pain or anger or, like, I don't know the word, like rejection, like I didn't know how, and then when I did have to feel, those are big emotions. I feel like a little kid, Miss Rachel, big feelings are okay. Shout out to her. She's amazing, but she's very helpful to me and my growth, because we are still kids in our mind, because they say that our brain stops developing, when I was 9, like, golly, man.
That's young. That's young, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, even me and you were talking about how, like, we got to push ourselves to want to do things, and like that's another thing. Like, it's hard even when you are sober. Like, I'm still dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression myself, and I'm not wanting to do things that I used to love to do. And the biggest thing for me that's helped me, I can say personally, is just continuing to push myself to do that one thing that I don't want to do. Right. You know what I mean?
Step outside of your comfort zone and stuff. Yeah. Like, that's very hard for me.
Definitely.
Look, we have another comment that says, the hard part is that they choose when they forgive us, and that can hurt. And that's absolutely right. Like, because it's up to them at that part. We chose to do what we did, and then it's up to them to choose when or if they forgive us. And that's hard for especially addicts. Like, we don't like to relinquish control at all. And that's definitely out of our control. And then strive not to be perfect, but a little better than we were yesterday. That's amazing advice as well.
Absolutely. Yes, I like that a lot.
One day at a time type vibe,
Yes. 1 second. Shoot. 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. A day is too much. Yeah, I'm like, what are you going to do tomorrow? I have no clue.
God, yeah, please let's not even get into that. Let me get through the day first. We'll talk about tomorrow.
Let's talk about, like, I know when we get sober, a lot of us have like criminal records, and that can really go against us in finding a job and finding housing. Like, I know when I got out of prison and I was looking for housing, I was actually working for these amazing people. I was doing drywall, and we were trying to find me a place. And they literally went with me. They were a couple, and they went with me, and they were like, we will give first month's, last month's rent and a deposit. Like, like, what else do you want? And they still, like, I still cannot find anyone to rent to me. That person still ended up saying no. Like, they're like, we'll vouch for him. They're like, we'll pay the rent and like put it in our name, not do any of that. And I know I called my parole officer at the time, and I was like in tears, and I was like, do you have, like, is there like a list of housing that accepts felons? And she was like, no, if you were actively using, we could find you housing, but because, yes, honest. Now, this was, 12 years ago, but that's literally what she told me. She said they could find housing for me if I was using, because then they could, send me to, like, the Salvation Army or something like that did like homeless shelter / treatment, etc. But they literally did not have any kind of list of apartments in my area that accepted felons or anything like that. And that's extremely discouraging. Like, why would I not get high if I can't even find somebody to rent to me? You know what I mean? Like, I can't find a house.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, a couple places, I don't know, like, always, you can always go to the DCBS office, and anywhere that you live, they will give you, seriously. And I used to let that go one ear and out the other. Cause like, I was so sick of people preaching to me about stuff. Like, don't talk to me. I ain't even got time for this. But seriously, the truth is they will give you resources, and resources go a long way. Like, for me, I am in a MAT program, and so it's a substance, MAT, I don't know if anybody knows MAT maintenance. I do the Suboxone shot now. Sobriquet shot. I just got on that. So it was my first round of my shot last week, and before that I was on Suboxone. So, but it saved my life, and I know a lot of people got a couple different opinions about that, but for me, it saved me.
Yep.
But at that place, there's a lot of resources, and I like to dig deep into the resources because I need help. Because, like you said, a lot of people don't want to accept felons. Even rent to them. It's hard. It is
Life
so
is
hard.
hard.
And then yes, and then there's a lot of scammers out there too. You got to watch for. And that I ran into that as well, trying to find a place to live.
Yep.
So it's hard. It
Yeah.
is, but there are a lot of places that will help with resources out there, like the health department. Like, just plug into your local community seriously, because they will
We
help you out.
actually have someone coming on next week that work department. You actually know him, but I don't give spoilers. But that he runs, a clinic that offers all these services, and we're going to talk about that next week. But I had no idea. Right now, as deep into my recovery as I am, all my years in, I had no idea that you could go to the health department to find resources, for help struggling, in your recovery or whatever. And that's amazing. Like his story is, his services, his little wraparound clinic or whatever he calls it, is really amazing. Like they do amazing work. I'm so excited to have him on next week. Like, because
girl.
a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know about, where they can get help, because like I said, I had no idea. I called my parole officer thinking she was going to help me, right? Because she don't want me to use. Surely she didn't give a damn. She gave no damn. She was like, can't help you. Go get high and I'll help you. That's how I felt. That's what in my addict brain, that's what she said to me. Go get high.
Yeah,
then come see me and maybe we'll talk. I'm like, oh,
exactly.
Luckily I
Same
didn't.
thing.
I already had Braylon, but I mean, God, like, made you think about it,
Oh yeah, absolutely. You almost that, and that's the saddest part is people. You almost have to kind of. A lot of people now are like, well, if you're getting high, I can help you into housing. If you're getting high, I can, get you all these different child programs, like to get your kids back. Like it's really crazy.
Right.
But there are a lot of other like avenues, and you just got to kind of find them.
You got to look for them. Yeah. And I'm working really hard I'm putting together on my website a list of different services. It's hard where like I'm online, my viewers are everywhere, but like I'm trying to narrow it down, maybe like virtual stuff or national stuff or, state specific. I haven't really figured it out yet, but I am working on that. I am also want to mention, while we're talking about resources, I want to do a link on my page called Business Owners in Recovery. Anybody in recovery that owns a business, I don't care if it's landscaping, cake baking, I don't care if you have a Facebook page where you sell your baking cakes, whatever. If you want to be listed on my site, then I encourage anyone in our community watching that needs services to check that link once I get it up and running, and try to help out our brothers and sisters in recovery, because not a lot of people give us shots, guys. So I think that was an idea that I had, and I'm still trying to put it together where, our community is still relatively small because we're brand new, but I am working on it. So if anybody is a business owner or someone that's in recovery that would like to be listed, please shout out, because if other people aren't going to support us, guys, we need to support each other.
Yes. And I just want to go ahead. I know you always say this is your show, but girl, this is your show too. And let me just say something real quick. Again, big shout out to you. I'm so proud of you. I could not be any more proud of you than I am every time I see you on the show. Like you are just killing it. I know, because I know how far you come, and it's so
Better
great.
than
It's so great.
yeah.
And what you're doing is you're helping so many people, baby. And so I just think it's great.
I just hope, if I can reach one person or two people, I just
Absolutely.
need to repay some of my debt. I feel my karmic debt, We have a couple comments. We said, they say if you keep a foot in yesterday and one in tomorrow, that we are pissing on today. All we have is today. So if we stay in the moment and continue to change the way we think, count our blessings as we wake up today. Oh, as we woke up today, someone didn't. And then another one, whatever someone's recovery path is to them, if it takes Matt, then so be it. Work your program. We are not going to please everyone. You are not in the streets, and that's the blessing. So I agree. Like, I know there's a huge stigma on Matt, but I don't think anyone should be ashamed. If you are correctly, I know I talked about that a little bit last week. I know there's always going to be somebody that doesn't. So yeah, and that's what people are talking about. That's where the stigma comes from. I know people abuse it. People abuse the pain pills the doctor gives them too, but that's okay, right? Or the nerve pills that the therapist gives them, but that's fine. You know, that's different. But because it's addiction medication, somehow there's this big stigma, and I don't think that's right. If you are using it correctly and you are being a productive member of society, I say F it, you know, do what works for you, you know, and I know that you do, but I'm, you know, to anyone else out there that is, you know, considering seeking MAT treatment and they're worried about the stigma, man, screw people. Do what works for you. If it helps you, you know, use it correctly and follow your counselor's advice and the doctor or whatever, you know, but do you, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree. And I am, you know, always, I'm a member of this group, so you can find me on here, but I'm always down. Like if anybody ever needs to or needs to want to know something about the substance abuse program, the MAT program, just get a hold of me and like, I will talk you through it seriously. Cause like I'm a big advocate for it only because I've been on it for about 3 years now. And I just transitioned over to the shot, and I just want to say, it just literally has saved me in so many different ways. So it's just truly amazing. But yeah.
Right. And if anybody has any questions about recovery or wants to talk, Amanda is incredibly knowledgeable. No, she's not like certified counselor, but I'm telling you, I saw the girl work her recovery every day for 18 months. You know, she got out there, and you know, that was when I left. She went on to SAP after that, but like she literally every day, no one bother me. She would go for 30 or 45 minutes and sit by herself and study her big book or her Bible or whatever literature she was reading at the time. She has a lot of knowledge to pass on, guys. Use her. I know she don't care, you know.
Oh my God, my phone's died. Oh my God.
You're still on. You're not dead yet. Well, I think Amanda's experiencing some difficulties, guys. But so I'll use this time while she's not on, talk a little bit. I guess I'll bring Fauna back. She's back with us. She had left us for a little bit. And we'll just talk a little bit while she comes back. We're going to actually wrap up when she gets back anyways. But we'll just, you know, discuss a little bit. Someone talks about how they abused the MAT program and had to be completely abstinent, but it works for. I agree. And her experience is valid. You know, like if it doesn't work for you, if you know, some people have to have complete abstinence. This is Amanda calling. Hello, you there? I know we're still on. I just brought Fauna back, and we're just talking a little bit. Okay, love you. Okay, but yeah, like, you know, people, and you know what works for you guys. You know, if you got to be real with ourselves. If you know that you can't do it, then don't do it. You know, try other ways first. And there's lots of ways now. I know a Vivitrol shot that you take only like every so often. Like I know some people with the MAT program, if they take a medicine every day, they don't like that because it kind of, you know, triggers them or puts them in, you know, relation to like, you know, using every day or chasing it or whatever. But so like, I know there's so many different options now. I know there's stuff that you can do, like what, once a month, once every couple months, how, you know, specifically.
Yeah. So you got like the Suboxone pills, you got strips, shots once a month. And also like nothing has to be like permanent long term, you know. You can always get where you're stable and comfortable and work with your treatment team to, you know, come off the medication.
And I know that there's a big stigma around methadone, but that is always an option. If you feel like you could not be trusted with your medication, you could go to the clinic every single day. Like, you know, there's different options, and everything works for different people. And, you know, and I know we kind of all got sidetracked on MAT, but I think that it's important for people to, like, I want everyone to be able to express themselves and share their truth. Like if MAT works for somebody, then good for you, you know, whatever works for you. And nobody's going to be the same. Nobody's recovery or journey or path is ever going to be the same as somebody else's. Like, so everybody do what works for you, explore options. If you have reservations about the MAP program, please talk to somebody that get your information, get educated. Let's just not say no. Let's explore all your options, because at the end of the day, you have to do what keeps you clean and sober and out here showing up for your life.
For sure. And like, I just want to say, like, even if you just have questions, you can always come in to, where I work at or any other treatment center and just ask, and somebody will be able to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Faunae works at a Brightview Treatment Facility, which I know they're pretty big up in Ohio. I don't know if there's any, I'm farther down in Kentucky for anybody that's watching in my area, but there's treatment facilities all over, and anybody in any one of them should be willing to help you. And if they're not, shame on them. But yeah, just walk in. Lots of places take walk-ins. If you just, I know it's hard to get the courage to start treatment, and sometimes it's sporadic. And I know that Rachel talked a little bit about now that Brightview takes walk-ins, like you can just walk in. At certain clinics, I'm sure like it varies from place to place, but like that any weekday that you can walk in and say, hey, I need help right now. And somebody will help you. And that's,
Yeah. I know, even inpatient, I can help people if they come in, like I need to go to inpatient, transition, and help them get somebody to come pick them up that day to take them.
I know we have a comment on Facebook from Deborah Bloomfield, and it says, the biggest thing is if anyone is struggling, please reach out. I'm always an ear to hear and speak to people. And I know she recently got her peer support certificate or certification, however you call it. I saw that online on Facebook. Congratulations, Deborah. So she is actually certified. For anybody else, I'm sure Faunae wouldn't mind. Anybody watching, if you guys need help, please reach out to these people. These people are here because they care about you and they want to help you. And and I think Faunae and Deborah are in different areas, guys. So check out their profiles. If you guys, if you're struggling, if with anything, if you need resources, please reach out to these people. Anybody on this show should be willing to help. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I guess she might not be coming back, but thank you again so much for being here. Thanks for jumping in when she lost her service. And I hope to have you back again so soon. Thanks for everybody that's watching. I want to talk a little bit next week. I am having on the harm reduction specialist that I talked about. He works at a health department. He has lots of valuable information, guys, about what he calls a wraparound service and like the different things. He has a really good point on like where to start, or a really good point of view is what I'm trying to say, on where to start in your recovery and how to get going and how to not get overwhelmed. And I'm so excited for him to be able to share that with you guys. And he's really interesting. So please tune in to watch that. And hopefully we'll see Miss Faunae back sometime. Thanks for watching, guys.
I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my been ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been petty.